So keep on going with your silly dream by Piter on AO3, read by Lily6645. This fic may include mentions of suicidal thoughts. That is your warning. Chapter 52. Why do you hurt the ones you care about? Izuku Midoriya. Emo mode. Summary. Mirako and Izuku talk. Izuku bashed his fist into the thug's head again, taking a shaky breath. The man had long since passed out. He should have restrained him and left him for the police to deal with. But he was just so angry at this asshole who decided some scrawny teenager was the perfect victim, angry at Aizawa and the pro heroes, angry at himself. Izuku shook his head, dragging the man forward and slapping a post-it note describing his crime. The teenager had long since ran off. Hopefully, he'd be okay. The vigilante picked up his baseball bat and jogged away. No matter how many criminals he stopped, there was always more to take care of. Since summer break had begun, crime had spiked ever so slightly. Of course, they couldn't spike much with the symbol of peace looming over their heads, but it seemed to lag. The league had given those in the shadows a confidence boost, enough for them to step outside. Hopefully, Izuku's bat could push them back in. "Hey, brat!" Mirako called, voice agitated, which he understood. He had been avoiding her for the past 2 months? 3? It didn't matter, not really. Izuku attempted to keep jogging, but unfortunately a hard kick against his ribs launched him into the nearby wall. He grunted at the impact against his already bruised and broken body. "What the hell is wrong with you?" The rabbit hero snarled lowly, standing directly in front of him. It'd be more intimidating if he didn't have to look down at her. And God, that infuriating worry that rolled off her didn't help. "I'm done with this," Izuku said quietly, hands clenched at his side. "Let me go, Mirako." "Like hell? You're beating criminals to pulps and evading everyone and clearly not sleeping. I'm not leaving 'cause you're being a bitch right now." Izuku's heart thumped heavy in his chest, but not with panic as it usually did. He felt pissed. Despite knowing the pro meant well, he wanted her to leave. He wanted to knock her goddamn teeth in. "And why the hell would you not?" Izuku snapped, desperately trying to calm down. It wasn't working. "Because, kid, you're my patrol partner, my friend, my mini hero. And goddammit, you're freaking me out. I don't need you." "Yahoo! Did you sustain brain damage since we last talked?" Mirako asked incredulously, yet there was an edge there. Something angry, something weird. God, he was sick of that emotion. He reared his fist back before he sent it cracking against the hero's face. She clearly hadn't been ready for him to hit back, putting far too much faith in some random vigilante. He knew he made a mistake. He knew it as soon as his knuckles hit skin. But he couldn't stop. I'm not your friend or your patrol buddy. I'm definitely no hero. So back off. Stay away, you stupid fucking rabbit. Take a hint. Mirko looked at him in something akin to shock and confusion, lip split and bleeding slightly. As she stared, her expression went through a multitude of emotions, flashing too fast for Izuku to truly grasp what had happened. She settled on a look of indifference. Maybe you just weren't who I thought you were. Maybe I'm not, Izuku agreed, mind latching onto the stinging of his fist. A brief moment of silence passed over them. I won't arrest you. So, stop trying to pick a fight. Tell me when you get that damn ego in check. You know where to find me. Izuku stormed away. He didn't cry, no. The anger swelled in his chest, hardly budged. If anything, the added guilt only made it worse. Why couldn't he stop feeling so horrible? He wanted to be happy again. He slammed his fist into a wall. Jesus, what was he doing? He shook his head. It was for the better. It was. Izuku walked down the streets of Musutafu, head safely hidden in his hood as shoulders hunched forward. It was crowded. People were bumping into him from every direction. He'd never felt more alone, not even in middle school. At least then he'd had his mom and, in some twisted way, cut Bakugo. Now Eraserhead and Class 1A were all gone, literally out of the city, or at least Shinso, Uraraka, and Aizawa were. Izuku never talked, but he did keep tabs on them. A little creepy, but he'd done worse. Even if they were here, Izuku wouldn't have anyone. He'd ruined this group of people he'd called his too. Everywhere Izuku went, disaster followed. It was like fading into the background of his own motion picture. He didn't fight as exhaustion and pain and anger swarmed what once was joy and enthusiasm. He only watched helplessly, drowning, waiting. He wasn't sure if it was him, though. Izuku wasn't supposed to give up. To be this ball of spite and anger, he was optimistic and excited and determined. Not whatever this was. Again, what was he doing? He curled his hand into a ball, feeling the welcome sting. The pain acted more as proof he was alive. If he wasn't, how could his knuckles be bruised and split? He clenched his fist again. It was for the better. That is the end of chapter 52. On to the next chapter. Chapter 53. Turn on the TV. Oh. Looked like Izuku would be interacting with Class 1A after all. Summary. Izuku learns some troubling news and groups up with those he swore he'd tried to avoid. Hopefully, they could save Bakugo. Kid. Hello? Izuku's head jerked up and he blinked in confusion. Had he fallen asleep? The worker was staring grumpily, so as crazy as it seemed, Izuku had indeed fallen asleep, standing up and waiting for his total. Took you long enough. The balding man muttered, rolling his eyes. Sorry for wasting your time. I know you have a lot to do working at a convenience store, and balding at 9 in the morning, Izuku said flatly, glancing in front of him. Just tell me how much I owe you. The man twiddled his thumbs, face an ugly shade of red. 1570, sir. If the guy hadn't been such an ass, he may have felt bad, or if he had been the old man, then again, if he was the old him right now, he would have never stuck up for himself in the first place, let alone said something rude. Actually, he probably would have offed himself by now. However, he had a duty now, one to save, to help protect his city, even the assholes in it. Izuku handed the worker a 20 and took the change, shoving the bills in his pocket. He didn't even say thank you. Who was he? His mom would kill him if she saw him do that. Good thing he wasn't planning on going back. Hoots! Turn on the TV, Channel 5! The employee, Hoots, rolled his eyes yet powered on the small TV. Campus, one student has been kidnapped by the League of Villains. This is the same student of Class 1A who was attacked by the sludge villain in the past, Bakugo Katsuki. Kachan. They had Kachan. This is the stupidest thing Izuku had ever done. Ever. Well, he didn't know about ever, but it was certainly up there. If he had judged correctly, most kids in Class 1A were currently heroes in the making, aka sneaky, self-sacrificing, and stubborn. Plus the meddling, of course. So at least a few of them should be willing to rescue Bakugo and maybe even have a lead. Although being here was against everything he'd been trying to distance himself from. He had to save Bakugo. He had to. He wasn't sure why he was so willing to go after his tormentor, but there he was, following the other boy just as it had always been. Maybe it was just the universe correcting itself, he supposed. Moments after he watched Ida walk onto the hospital grounds, he came out with 3 others. Todoroki, the ponytail girl, and the red-haired boy. Izuku stepped out of the side street and in front of them. Hey, that's Yahoo, right? The red-haired teen asked, pointing at Izuku. I'm coming with you, Izuku said instead, crossing his arms, right down to business. While we appreciate the concern, we have no idea what you're talking about. This is strictly hanging out. Nothing odd is going on here. You're going to save Bakugo! I'm coming! Izuku snapped. Ida reeled back in surprise, while Todoroki's eyes narrowed slightly. The other two seemed a little off put as well, judging by the silence.
I say we let him. He's worked with us before, and we'll need all the help we can get,
Shark Teeth declared, grinning broadly.
What we're doing is already against the rules. What's the harm in breaking a couple more? Working with a vigilante is complete.
Ida. Todoroki interrupted, voice stoic as ever.
I believe you should think carefully about what you say next, considering your internships.
Ida flushed.
Well, as soon as things get dangerous, I will be escorting us out. Vigilante! No one will get hurt on my watch. Not even you, Yahoo!
Izuku nodded. Okay, let's go then. The 4 UA students and single vigilante walked forward. Izuku ignored the dual-colored eyes, glued to him. Someone needed to teach Todoroki some social cues.
Staring is extremely rude, Todoroki.
Ida hissed in a poor attempt at whispering, arm-chopping.
Don't be all cryptic with me.
Izuku looked away, refocusing to the girl on his right. He really needed to learn names. Not that it would matter after today. It wasn't like he was sticking around. I don't believe we've ever officially met. The tall girl spoke up, smiling politely. I am Momo Yaoyorozu. It's a pleasure. That guy is Kirishima. And I assume you're already acquainted with those two. I am, and you can call me Yahoo. He responded quietly, one hand fiddling with the bat. He needed to invest in a belt one day, instead of shoving the end of it into the belt loops of his cargo pants. Not now, of course. He didn't exactly have money to spare. Silence fell over them briefly before Izuku spoke again. So, where are we going? During the training camp, I managed to attach a tracker to Inomu. With the help of a Class 1B student, she held out a small device which displayed a radar. This device shows the current location that tracker. It is in Kamino. The 5 teens board a train, Izuku sitting on the inside of a seat in an attempt to avoid too many other passengers from recognizing him. Yahoo, Todoroki whispered next to him, too quiet for the other 3 to hear over the conversation. What?
Are you all right?
The question was stiff and awkward, falling out clumsily from the heir's lips. It shouldn't have mattered. Why did his eyes water? I'm fine, he grunted, crossing his arms. Talk to your friends and leave me alone. He pretended not to see the brief hurt in Todoroki's eyes.
Are we not friends?
No.
I don't believe you.
Izuku's eye twitched. What?
We're friends,
Todoroki stated, like it was the simplest thing in the world, before turning back towards Ida, like he hadn't just sent Izuku into shock. The vigilante sighed heavily, allowing his head to thump against the window. At least he knew Todoroki was nothing like his father.
Kamino, Yokohama. I repeat, Kamino, Yokohama.
The group of 5 stood and filed out of the train, looking in shock at the expansive city around them. They had made it. Now, could they manage to make it out with one more? That is the end of chapter 53 of So Keep On Going With Your Silly Dream by Piter on AO3. If you liked this, please go support the original author. Link in the description below. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, kittens.